Right. Good day, everybody. This is Trevor Clark from Action Coach Business and Executive Coaching. And really chuffed this morning to be reconnecting with a lady called Dagmar Breiling. And Dagmar owns a business called The Funding Connection. We've had the pleasure of working with each other on and off for many years now. And I wanted to invite Dagmar just to share some really useful stuff with you guys in the world of funding. So Dagmar, good morning and thanks for joining us. How's it going?
Yes, hi Trevor. Thanks very much for having me. Yes, I have really lovely memories of our coaching, and I definitely know it helped me really like crazy to grow my business and still implementing lots of the systems and the structured way I've learned. So yes.
Great. Well, thanks for coming in. That's I guess the reason I wanted you just to kind of share some of your thoughts with our database is what people come up, or when I ask people what are the challenges that they face in business, most business owners will often come back and saying access to funding, access to capital is a big challenge. Obviously, always getting from traditional banks and traditional lenders, as well as through government grants and other capital that's available out there. So I'd love to pick your brains and just that you can share some of your insight into people around that. But before we do that, I'd love it if you don't mind, maybe just give a quick background about because a lot of our clients know you and have met you, and you've helped a lot of my clients get access to capital in the past, but many of our database haven't met you, haven't come across the Funding Connection. So tell us a bit of the background, yourself, the business, and what exactly it is you do.
Okay, so I started, I don't know, 7-8 years ago now as a one-woman show, really struggling to honestly survive. But what I saw, there was a point where I saw, okay, I'm not able to do that on my own. I need somebody to help me and also coach me. And honestly, I couldn't really afford any coaching. But I still said, I need this. I am here in my own small little box. I'm not able to look outside. So that's why I decided to join the coaching program, and never ever really looked back. I think I was quickly able to double my sales each and every year. There were even some years in between where I tripled my sales from one year to the other. Absolutely amazing. And definitely your step-by-step and strategic approach was a big part of it. I always thought I'm well educated. I've got a master's in economics. I know all these things. It's not that I don't really know. I always thought I just need to implement them as soon as I'm growing or have grown. And with you, what I learned is implement things first and then you grow. That was definitely happening. I'm definitely testimonial for this. So yes, and what does Funding Connection do? We assist companies accessing loans and grants, and we do that by advice, sharing lots of information for free. Whoever comes to you gets a tip where to go. Even if we are not able to assist, I can guide you and say, okay, go there, go there, go there. And we draft professional business plans, we assist companies accessing loans and grants, and we do that by also helping with the whole application process. All the nitty-gritties, filling out the forms, making sure that everything is consistent. That's the biggest challenge for lots of entrepreneurs. And I know, I hear all these stories. Funding is available, but obviously not for me because I'm the too white, too black, too Indian, I have no idea, startup or expansion, and that's not true. If a business is fundable, and reality is not every business is fundable and business idea, there's definitely ways to access it. The challenge is most of the time that some parts of what the financiers want to see is not there or is not strong enough there. And I always feel like a translator between the entrepreneur and the financier. So you always need to understand that the financier people are sitting there, they are paper pushers. I don't know any other word, but I'm sure you all know what I mean. So they have no entrepreneurial spirit, you know. So they have no idea that you as an entrepreneur, time is pressing for you. You need to have answers quickly, and then they come back with a list of documentation they want from you. And so I always feel like I'm a translator between two of them and explain both sides, sometimes to the financier what the entrepreneur wants to do, and sometimes also vice versa to the entrepreneur. Okay, so they need this to be absolutely clear about your business idea. And the financier is usually on the side of the entrepreneur. They want to make sure that you are able to repay the loan if it is a loan, or that the grant, if it's a grant application, really makes an impact according to the objective of the relevant government. And I'm talking now internationally, not here only about South Africa. Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Dagmar. And just for people to get an idea, you know, who should be knocking on your door? The typical people, is it small businesses, growing businesses, corporates? Who are the kind of guys that should be saying, help me? I know that you know that you'll be able to help them really quickly.
Okay, so the size of an application or a business plan doesn't make really any difference to us. Startups we are helping, I always say you need to apply for minimum 500,000 Rand, because otherwise I feel our fees are not really justified. And we've done that also for bigger companies. Corporates usually have a whole department with finance manager, accountant. They usually can do that on their own. We have sometimes a little bit bigger companies with, I don't know, 100 employees, so where they have everything in place, but they don't have the time. Okay, we do business plans on a daily basis. So, and if you do that once or twice a year, it definitely takes you longer. And if you pay then your CFO to do that, that's really expensive. We will be cheaper. So sometimes it's just a think about, okay, well, how much time, what is cost effective? So, and that's why we have really a wide range of companies and entrepreneurs we are able to assist.
And then once you've helped somebody put together a good business plan, so they've either come to you with a good business plan or you've helped them refine the plan. What are the typical places you would go to? Because I know there's a lot of different sources of funding, government departments and non-government. What are the typical, I think a lot of people aren't aware of how many bodies there are out there that are putting money back into our economy. Maybe just talk around that if you don't mind, the principles of lending and who is doing it.
Okay, so we usually we recommend going to government institutions, and the reason why is because the government institutions usually only expect 10% collateral. IDC is a little bit more picky; they want 40, sometimes even 50% collateral from the whole investment amount. But we also assist if you have a good relationship with your bank needs to have a business plan. If you have a private investor, we can do business plans. So that is not a problem. We are able to assist. We know exactly what financiers want to see. And honestly, I know everybody thinks the government institutions want to see something different than the private investor. Maybe slightly different, but at the end of the day, it needs to be a profitable business. You need to prove to the financier that you are able to repay the loan, that you are also earning for yourself enough money. So that is fun for everybody. There is the Small Enterprise Finance Agency out there. They go for up to 15 million Rand as a loan. And they sometimes have blended funding where they are able to give a portion also as a grant. I always say SIFA is colorblind. So National Empowerment Fund is definitely for Black empowerment there. So if you need to apply for and you want to buy an existing company or take shares in existing company, they go up to 75 million Rand. That is an option for you. Land bank has some challenges at the moment. They expect to be back on track in April. They do everything agricultural related. Also, they have specific programs for Black emerging farmers, but they also have programs for white farmers and everybody else here in South Africa available normally. What else do we have? And then we have the IDC, Industrial Development Corporation, I think 60 or 70 years already in business. I love to work with them. They know exactly what they are doing. Experienced people also on the other side. So, and they do mostly everything manufacturing related. They have some other funds there, you know, so some tourism, some mining, but I think it's more confusing if I go into too much detail than anything else. Yes, and then there's the DTI, Department of Trade and Industry, and they offer a couple of different grants. But please, also, each and every of these programs has 20 pages rules and regulations. I'm sure, Trevor, you heard that before. So, and they are not all the same. They all have, one does this, the other one only does this. This is excluding, vehicles are excluded there, but included in this grant. So if you really want to know if you qualify for any of these grants, I'm usually able quickly to assess it. And if I think, oh, there can be something, then I need to go a little bit more deeper in a consultation, and then we just can see, yes, okay, that fits. Because it's not only 1, 2, 3 questions, oh yes, that's the right program, then we sometimes need to go a little bit deeper. And because I also, with all these grants, I know the tricks. I know where people are struggling, and I can explain that to you up front and say, that is the trick. Make sure you have this specifically in place. Yes, I think that's an overview.
Yeah, great, thanks, Dagmar. The other one was just, I know you in regular contact with the different government bodies, and yeah, they all have their targets and initiatives that they're spearheading. Are you seeing any trend at the moment, any sort of specific sector where that the government is trying to stimulate in a specific area that you think that people should be taking aware of? Is it agriculture? Is it manufacturing? Are there any specific initiatives we should know about?
Okay, so the latest one is what just came out is for the tourism industry. Usually before now with COVID, getting any funding for the tourism industry was close to impossible because we don't really know what's happening, okay? So of course we all assume life, there will be a time after the pandemic and life goes on, and tourism industry is usually really helping with the job creation, but of course also with international guests and getting some dollars into the country. Okay, that's something what government really needs. So they offer the TIFA program. It's a tourism equity fund for Black-owned business. So they combine this specific fund to empower Black-owned companies. And they have some portion up to 20 million rand per application as a grant and up to 15 million rand as a loan available. They made it really easy to apply. They don't even want to have a full business plan. What I assume is they said already, it takes a little bit longer to go through all the application, and it's a complex process. And I assume later on that they will then ask, okay, so first there's a screening, and then they say, okay, you are interesting for us, you fulfill the criteria, and then they ask them for fully fledged business plans in the second phase. And I think that's also a fair approach to save entrepreneurs a little bit of money for big business plan. Manufacturing, IDC is always looking desperately for great ventures. and I'm in close contact. I'm sure I will do another webinar with Crystal from IDC where she can explain what is possible, what is available. I think last time we did it in Zoom, and my Zoom was only allowing 100 people in. Definitely a couple of more try to attend, and yes, so maybe we do another Facebook event so it's not restricted. So yes, but IDC is always looking for great. If you are in the manufacturing field, definitely worth to have a look at it and see how they can assist you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Dagmar. That was the main thing on my mind, was just to share the opportunities out there, because we find a lot of people that are frustrated not getting to capital, but also not knowing how or who to go, and there's sometimes quite a bleak outlook there. And as you explained to me years ago, it's basic economics. You know, the government collects tax, and they want to invest that tax back into the economy. That's why grant funding is so, or government funding is so good, because it's seeding future revenue streams for the government. So thanks for sharing that. And what I'll do at the end of the session is just, I think just that people do know that these options are out there. And anybody listening to this, if you're not sure where to turn, reach out to Dagmar. I'll put a link below the videos so you can get in touch with her directly, follow her newsletter. Obviously, she's all sorts of different packages on how she helps people get funding, but just book a consult if you're not sure that you qualify or not sure where to go. Here's somebody that can really help you. Who's been doing it for 10 years and very, very well, I'm pleased to say. So Dagmar, thanks for your time. If there's any closing thoughts or any sort of passing tip or piece of advice you'd like to pass on to business owners out there, maybe there's a closing thought you could leave us with.
Okay, let me think about it. So what I definitely know is that money is never ever the issue. If you have everything in place and your business idea or venture is really, really great, you will find the money. The challenge is to understand what the financiers on the other side expect from you. But that's definitely something I can easily explain and also have a look and say, yes, this is all in place, but this is the key criteria here. That's what you need to work on. And that's how we then assist entrepreneurs to access the funding.
So, speaking my language, the money's there, just we need a plan. So.
Yes.
Brilliant, Dagmar. With that, I'll let you go. Thanks for your time this morning, and we'll be connecting separately. So all the best for this year going forward.
Thanks very much. Take good care, Trevor. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everybody.